Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto Awakened the Yellow Rinnegan after his exile. Remember to get this one to 200 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new series of What If Naruto was blamed and it changed him, guys, over an Anime King, and enjoy that. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last part we left off, Naruto couldn't face anyone. He was afraid. Despite his attitude of always being smiling, he just couldn't face them no matter what. As he decided to run away, as they had extended the time by one day so that his friends could say goodbye to him, and for Snazzy to find a way so that he wouldn't be able to leave. But they couldn't find any. Hinata was following Naruto as she saw him left his apartment. She was wondering what happened because he seemed to be in a rather bad mood. When she saw him ready to scale the wall, as she called out to him, he spoke to her, as he thanked her for not seeing him, well, as everyone else. And with that he left, as he told her not to tell anyone about what she saw. Strange, she wondered what was going on, but she knew that Naruto would never abandon the village. He had just rescued Sasuke and bring Sasuke back to the village. She knew he would never do something like that. Jiraiya had went by, as he was going to face the kid now, as it was hard to see the look on Naruto's face when he found out that he was going to become Hokage because he was going to be banished. As Jiraiya had quickly rushed to Snazzy's office when he found the note, Snazzy lost that she wanted to send her envoy out there, but remember what Daimyo said as she begged Jiraiya to run, to go and find him immediately. And that is exactly what Jiraiya did as he went off immediately to find Naruto. But Naruto was long gone. Time passed as Snazzy got the word that Jiraiya hadn't found him yet, as it hit her very hard, as in a note he said goodbye to her. Sakura was still at the hospital, gushing over Sasuke that he was awake now. Sasuke was annoyed and angry as he could not leave. As the rookie team had recovered enough so they could talk to each other, Ino and Sakura then came by Snazzy's office as she wanted to know where Naruto is. She felt bad now as she wanted to apologize and maybe go out on a date with him, because Ino told her that what she said really hurt him badly. But Snazzy lost her, well, self in anger when Sakura started to speak about Sasuke, as she let it slip about the exile, as she told him to leave. Ino had quickly told the others about what she heard. Sasuke couldn't believe it. Naruto, who worked so hard to bring him back, was exiled, as that was impossible. But it seemed like it was true. As Sakura spoke to Sasuke, he lost it. This girl was getting really annoyed. He was already angry that he failed to leave in the first place, as he ended up getting mad at her, as she left in tears, but he didn't really care. He just wanted to get out of here. Naruto was found by a girl named Hana, as she brought him back as her brother, Kenny. For the next 8 months, Naruto spent his time there. Seeing Naruto did not know what to do with his life. He wasn't going to become Hokage anymore. He was still a ninja, and he was stronger than an ordinary civilian, but still, he didn't know what to do. Things was going great there though, as he spent time with Hana and Kenny, and he was known around the village as Mr. 9. As he was doing little works here and there, Danzo had sent his lackeys out as they were able to find Naruto from the trail. From that trail straight up towards the cave. Danzo told him to get rid of anyone who might see them. This mission was supposed to be top secret. Sasuke had managed to fled the village by one of the envoys aiding him. As one of the envoys took the shift, and the next moment, the other envoy came for the other shift. The prisoner was gone, as Natty had no idea what happened. Sakura broke down, as it hurt her gravely, as she wanted to apologize to Naruto now, as it made her see how reliant she was on Sasuke, not noticing her real friend there, Naruto. But Snaddy told her that Naruto has not been found yet, as the other rookies were also bent out of shape about that. To see someone like Naruto leave the village for his exile, for bringing back Sasuke, Kiba was the most pissed, as Hinata pushed herself in a training regime. She was gonna get stronger and bring him back no matter what. If she was just strong enough that night, if she could stop him. But she failed. The envoys came, and things quickly escalated, as Kenny, the old man, and Hana died, as Naruto released a scream of anguish as his eyes changed. The fox saw Naruto in the mindscape when he awoke in there, as the fox wondered what happened, what was the change. As Naruto lashed out at the fox, this was his fault in the first place. Strange, translucent dragons came from Naruto's back, as the heads lashed onto the Kyuubi and started ripping from the bars. They gouged into his flesh, as they ripped him away from his chakra and swallowed him. The essence of the fox flew into Naruto's body, as he dropped to the ground crying out in pain. Outside, the envoys' bodies were mangled. What happened after Naruto waking up is Rinnegan. His golden Rinnegan, something extraordinary, completely destroyed him. As Naruto cried out in pain as he fell off the cliff, as he crashed down into a lake that dragged his unconscious change in the body along. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's what left off. You guys can switch across the page and check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. We begin this episode in a dark cave, as a hologram of a man stood there. You could just tell by the hologram that this man was exuding power, or maybe it was because of his eyes. Purple, or ripple patterned eyes. Beside him there was a woman, as she had golden eyes. They were currently looking down at someone that was standing there. It was a phoenix fly trap, but there was a person inside, half black, half white. As the man with the ripple patterned eyes spoke, begin. As a creature that was halfway out of the ground spoke, even though its mouth was not moving, the one tail still resides in its village, undisturbed. The two tail is at Kumo. We haven't gotten the firm location on Jinchuriki yet. The three tail is still taking part in the battle between the rebel forces at Kiri. The 4 and 5 tails are still having their disagreement with the Tsuchikage. They're currently in the surrounding lands of the Hidden Stone. The 6th tail is around the border of Kiri, in one of the many lands. The 7th tail is locked away in Taki. The 8th tail is also at Kumo. We do not have the exact location. And the 9 tails? The man with the rubber pattern eye said, "Leader-sama, we have not been able to locate him yet." "What is a hold-up?" the leader said. "He seemed to have fallen off the map. We have not found any sources of him yet. Could he have been killed?" The woman there asked. "Well, if he had, Konoha has keeping a real tight lip about it. But we know that he has been exiled. But we cannot find any single location of him. Jiraiya of the Sannin has been spotted as well. It seems like he's also searching, so the boy is also out of his grasp. Zetsu, 2 more years remain until we begin the hunt for Jinchurikis. I expect you to find him by then. Am I understood?" "Yes, dear Sama." Dismiss. With that, Zetsu sank under the ground. The woman then turned. "Pain, what if he can't?" "He has to. If we don't have the 9 tails in our possession, then all of this would have been for nothing. We need the final piece of the puzzle. He has 2 years. That will be long enough." The woman turned her head as she wondered as well. Where was the 9-tailed Jinchuriki? Back at Konoha, Tsunade was currently sitting at her desk. Another day of this boring job. She was tired of it, to tell the truth. Paperwork after paperwork. It was becoming rather exhausting. Shizune was always here though, to make sure that she was in line and always doing her work. It has been over a year and she hadn't gotten anything about Naruto at all. Nothing, no new information. Nothing. She didn't know what to do. She was sure that Blonde was not dead because Jiraiya had told her that his name was still on the scroll. And it made her even more upset and angry every time a council meeting was called and the elders showed up. She had to restrain herself from not literally punching their heads right off as they sit there with their arrogant face. It made her quite furious. Sakura had begged her for another chance. She was quite ferocious and furious at the girl for the way she had treated Naruto in his darkest time. But she calmed herself and didn't lash out at the girl as she helped her, because Sakura made a vow to find him and apologize, but she wanted to become strong enough to do it. So she pushed herself in a training regime, pushing herself beyond disbelief. Even when Tsunade thought that the girl would fall, she still continued on. As for the Uchiha, she had no idea where he was. She still couldn't understand. She went over the Anbu ranks, every single one of them, and every one of them were counted for, except for one. But that man had been an Anbu for a couple of years now. His code name was Kuma, as he wore a bear mask. So she had no idea how or why would he just gone missing with the Uchiha like that, as they were not able to find any sights of them, not even leaving the village. Another thing, she had to investigate for so long and find nothing. She felt worthless at being a Hokage because she was coming up with nothing but dead ends. As for Jiraiya, he hasn't returned since, just sending notes by the toads back to the village, as she knew that he must be hurting as well, as he was out there searching for Naruto. As she just prayed, wherever he was okay. Meanwhile, 3 of them fall, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 bodies hit the ground at thud, as these were none other than Orochimaru cursed, sealed rejects. In the center of this chaos was none other than Sasuke Uchiha, as he held onto his blade as he flashed it one time, before sheathing the blade. "Is that all?" Sasuke said as he turned. Orochimaru stood there. He had to acquire a new body seeing that Sasuke was late, as he had a smile on his face. "Don't worry, my dear Sasuke. We have enough time to make you be as strong as possible to kill your brother, if that was your worrying about." Sasuke simply grunted. "Have you found anything?" As Orochimaru looked at him closely, he knew that they were teammates, but he thought that Sasuke didn't really care. "No, I'm afraid not. It seems like the Jinchuriki has gone off the grid, wherever he is, if he's not dead." "Trust me, he's not." "And why would you think that?" "Naruto is not one to just lie down and accept death like that. But I wonder, how does he feel about Konoha now that he has been exiled?" "Probably different than before," Orochimaru said. "I wonder if he has taken a trail down a dark path. Things like that can really mess a person up. He would never be not fighting for Konoha, even though he's exiled. He's just that way," said Sasuke. "Enough about him. Let's get back to my training." Orochimaru licked his lips. Meanwhile, a man, as he was carrying a large pile of chopped wood, making his way towards a 2-story house. Strange enough, the house was in, well, a deserted area, because it would take a long walk to get back to normal routes from here. But it seems that this man wanted to live alone, or whoever he lived with. The man's head was bald, completely shine, as he had small black beady eyes. His eyes surveyed the area in front of his house. He was wearing a black cloak that went down, with brown pants and sandals, and a grey shirt underneath the cloak. He dropped the firewood right off in front of the house. As he went towards the door, a smile came on his face. He had a scar running down his cheek, seemed to be from some sort of sword. As he knocked on the door, he heard footsteps until someone opened the door. It was a woman, long red hair, as she seemed to be in her late 40s, same as the man, as she had green eyes, full, beautiful lips. As she looked back at him, she was wearing a green kimono. "Honey, you're back," she said, as she gave him a kiss on the cheek. "Well, that's a lot," she said. She looked at the firewood behind him. "Not too bad to have enough," he said, as she chuckled. "Well, I suppose you're right," she said. He then looked around. "Where is Melissa?" he asked. "Well, ever since you brought that stranger, she's been watching over him non-stop, to wait for him to wake up." As the man gained a thoughtful look on his face. "You know, Kaido," he turned towards his wife as she called his name. "It's strange. Despite him not eating or having anything placed on him for medical care, his body is still nourished and full. We can't exactly bring him to a hospital, given the situation where we are. But his body is still, as far as I check, completely unblemished and fine. Yeah, he's one strange one. After all, you can see it by just looking at him." "Yeah, I know," the woman said. "That's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. But it reminds me of something that I don't really know how it should be possible." "I know what you mean," said Kaido. The both of them heard a scream as they quickly rushed upstairs. As they quickly rushed down the hallway and burst into the room. The moment they did, someone backed into them. As it was a girl. "Melissa, honey, what's wrong?" Kaido asked as he looked at his daughter. As she rushed over, "Mom, Dad." The girl named Melissa had short red hair like her mother and black eyes like her father. As she was currently wearing a blue obi with a sash tied around her waist with grey pants, and she wasn't wearing any footwear. The reason of her, well, shock was the tails that were swinging around and hitting the floor hard. As Kaido stepped in front of his daughter and his wife, as the tails came lashing out at him, he was surprised. He never expected them to extend so long. But Kaido quickly reached behind him, behind his cloak, as he pulled out a blade. As he blocked each of the tails with the expert movements of a swordsman. As the tails started to sway even more. Before, Melissa noticed something. He's awake. As she saw the boy's hands twitch. The boy that was lying down there. As her mother pulled her back, expecting the worst to happen. But suddenly the tails went limp as they float back down to the ground, touching the ground, making absolutely no sound at all. They then heard a groan as Kaido held on to his blade. The person that was lying there was none other than Naruto himself, waking up from a long, life-changing sleep as he slowly blinked. He took a deep breath before releasing it. His head was swimming. He was confused. He was dazed. As his vision started to adjust, the first thing he saw was a man there with a blade in front of him. The events of what happened was on his mind like it happened the same moment ago when he fell unconscious. So, it quickly turned to rage. "Kenny. Hannah. I'll kill you," he said as he looked towards the man holding onto the blade as he lashed forward. The tails all shooting forward as well. But Kaido was well experienced as he blocked each and every strike. The window door to the room was opened up, Seeing the tails coming at him was just ferociously, he spun and got right into Naruto's guard and kicked him right to the window. As Naruto crashed outside, Kaido quickly leaped out as he landed right in front of his house to make sure the boy would not harm his family. As Naruto got up with a grunt, picking himself up, he didn't notice the change in height. I'll kill you for what you did to them. It doesn't matter what. I'll make sure you pay. And with that he shot forward again. But he was unused to the sudden speed, the rush, as he fly right past Kaido and slam into the side of the house. Why did you have to take them from me? Why did you have to take them? They didn't deserve that. They didn't deserve to die, said Naruto as he got to his feet. And you take them! It was then that Kaido fully noticed the boy's eyes. He had opened them before, when he saw movements under them. Even though the boy was asleep, his eyes were moving while he was unconscious. But now he saw the full might of his eyes. Yellow eyes with strange ripple pattern in them. As Naruto focused his eyes towards Kaido, he heard a word pop in his mind, but he did not say it. Even though he did not, the ground underneath him suddenly repelled from him. Kaido leaped as a huge trench was tear right into his yard, ripping out earth and stone. As some of the debris he blocked with his sword, Naruto's tails lashed out like they were just attacking on their own. As Kaido couldn't block all of them this time as they slammed him into a tree. Kaido pulled back his blade. Stop! Don't hurt my dad! Melissa, stop! As Naruto heard the voice cried out. No, Melissa, stop! Stay right there, Kaido said. As Naruto turned to see the little girl as he ran right in front of Naruto and held up both of her hands. Don't hurt my dad, please. As Kaido quickly got to his feet. As Naruto stepped back away from her. As Kaido stepped in front of his daughter. Don't you touch her, he said. As Naruto saw the woman with her red hair came as well. As he rushed off, he just ran. He didn't know what to do, he simply ran. As the three members stood there. Time skip. A few minutes later, as Naruto found himself on top of a cliff, he didn't know where he were, or what happened. The last thing he remembered was fighting that man, but before that, he shook his head as he tried to get rid of those thoughts. Seeing Hana, dead face, Kenny, and the old man. He heard footsteps. He knew that the man was coming from a mile away, and he didn't know how. I'm sorry for attacking your family. As he just put it together that this man was not the one that attacked him. Kaido didn't have his blade or anything. I figure it would be do best if I give you some time to cool off. Yeah, I was in my right mind, said Naruto. So you okay now, said Kaido. Yeah, at least I think so. Do you know what happened to me? Well, I found you. 2 weeks ago. I found you in a lake, just lying there. I thought you were dead. Despite not having any cuts or bruises on you, your clothes were torn. Torn up in a way like you have outgrown them. Strange. But you were perfectly fine despite being face down in the water. Others would have drowned. So you helped me. Yes, I did. Why, said Naruto. Thought it was the right thing to do, said Kaido. As he looked at Naruto. You should have let me die, said Naruto. What? Kaido said to him. Well, there's no more purpose anymore, is there? What do you mean, said Kaido. Well, let's just say I had a shitty life. Well, things weren't so bad before, but they got worse. You know, it's always best if someone hears out your problem and try to see if they can help you. So why don't you tell me what happened? Well, for one, I got exiled from my village. That was pretty horrible. And then, I found new friends. For the 8 months I was with them, I didn't know what to do with my life, so I didn't train. I didn't focus on, well, getting stronger. I just enjoyed my time being a civilian, if you can say that. And then, they were taken away from me. Just like that. I watched them die because I wasn't able to do anything. Plain white masks and black clothing. That's all I saw. And then Naruto paused. Then what, said Kaido? Never mind, said Naruto. Well, that just explained my shitty life so far. So that is the reason you should have just let me die. Well, it seems you had a bad life. But who hasn't? I know enough people who had their entire family and their life taken away from them as well. But they still carry on. So, this look a bit bad on you for just giving up like that. Especially since you want to die because of it. As Naruto talked about, there was no humor in his tone. Are you saying that my life isn't that bad? Well, it is. But some people are worse. Well, I bet you wouldn't say that if you knew. I had a giant, demonic fox in my stomach that caused chaos and havoc everywhere it goes. Naruto heard nothing. If you know what I'm talking about, I bet you probably hate me now as well. I knew it, said Kaido. So that explained those. Explain what, said Naruto. Kaido stepped over as he poked one of the tails, as he really wanted to see if Naruto could actually feel it as well. Hey, what did you just do, Naruto asked, as he poked one of the tails again. Hey, you're not touching me, so what? As Naruto turned around, as he saw something flash past his vision. Hey, is something tied to my back or something? As he turned, Kaido looked at him with amusement on his face. Are you serious? Hey, what's going on, Naruto asked. He looked behind him until he caught sight of him. What the hell? Wait, you don't know about your tails? My tails? Yeah, I figured that it was really odd for someone to have tails. So it must be because of the Kyuubi inside of you. Wait, hold on. My tails? As Naruto saw his tails whipped around, as he rubbed his eyes, he reached out and poked one of them. As he felt it, the thing flicked on its own. But he could also move it as well. It felt like an extra arm, an extension of his body. What the hell happened to me? He shouted. You're acting like this is the first time you're seeing them. And how would that be, said Kaido. I mean, they're 9 massive tails. You know, I felt a bit heavier coming over here. But I don't understand. How did I get tails? Wait, you know about the Kyuubi? You said its name. Well, come back to the house, said Kaido. Would your family even accept me now, said Naruto, after what I just did? Oh, don't worry. They're loving people. And besides, if you try anything again, I'll chop off your tails, said Kaido. The man said it with a smile like he, was joking. But the smile seemed rather scary. You're joking, right, said Naruto. He didn't know how he had tails, but he knew that they were connected to him. Well, you try to find out, said Kaido. As Naruto came back, as he saw the 2 girls there, the older woman and the little girl, he bowed his head. I apologize, he said. I didn't mean to cause you any trouble, after hearing that you guys have been the one watching over me. Oh, it's okay. The little girl said, Are you okay now? Yeah, I'm fine. I knew it, Mom. He wasn't a bad guy. He was just confused. You're confused, right? Yeah, you can say that. Hey, mister, what's your name? Naruto looked at her. She was talking to him like he was an old man or something, calling him mister. The name is Naruto. What's yours? My name is Melissa. Melissa, oh, she paused as she looked at her mother. As her mother gave her a look, like telling her not to go on. The name is Melissa, she said. Oh, hello Melissa, said Naruto, as he looked towards the mother. Oh, my name is Kaya. Nice to meet you, Naruto, she said. It's nice to meet you as well, said Naruto, as he looked at the 3 of them. Can I see a mirror? He asked. Sure, follow me, she said, as he followed Kaya inside, as Naruto really wanted to see what the hell was going on with these tails. As Naruto made his way, she brought him to a full-length mirror. As Naruto stepped in front of it, Naruto poked the glass. Wait, who the hell is that? He asked. As he looked at the reflection that was looking back at him, he waved his hand as the thing waved back. As Melissa chuckled a bit. You're funny, mister, she said. Naruto understand now why she was calling him mister. Is that me? What do you mean, said Kaido, as Kaya came over as well. Of course that is you, she said. I don't understand. I'm only 13 years old. What? The three of them said, confused. Because the person Naruto was looking at, now he was feeling the strangeness of everything. He was no longer short. He was literally around 5 feet 9 or even 6 foot. What the hell? His arms and his entire body had changed shape. He understood now why his clothes were torn badly. At the moment he was only wearing a black pants. He wasn't wearing a shirt. And he had muscles all over. And he could see where the tails were coming from. They were attached to him. As he moved them. As Melissa chuckled. You're like, fuck, she said. As Naruto blinked. As it came back to him. He remembered when those things came from his body and started to bite at the fox. Even in his rage-induced state, he remembered them. And then, pain. Naruto looked at the three of them. Excuse me, he said, as he sat down and closed his eyes. As he remembered Jiraiya telling him how to do this. As he focused. To his surprise, it was much easier. As Naruto woke up inside the seal, he looked around. What he saw was nothing. Nothing inside the seal. The bars were still there and the seal paper was still there. But inside he saw no fox. The only thing he saw was a mass of chakra. Red chakra. Just floating there. But the fox was not there at all. As he was confused. He reached towards the bar but he stopped. What? Stupid furball, he shouted. If this is some kind of joke, get out here right now. But his teasing had gone off deaf ears because no one came out. Naruto focused as he was out of the mindscape in seconds. It was much easier. He rose to his feet. What just happened? Asked Kaido. Well, let's just say a certain person of mine is now gone. Kaido looked at him. May I ask you something, she said. Sure, said Naruto. Are you the jailer of the Nine-Tailed Kyuubi? Naruto looked at her. So you know as well? Impossible. Is your last name Uzumaki, she asked. Yeah, what about it, Naruto said. As she gasped, even Kaido gasped as well. And Melissa gasped. He's a Uzumaki, mom? Like us? Wait, what do you mean like us, Naruto asked. My full name is Kaya Uzumaki. This is Melissa Uzumaki. As Naruto looked at the man standing there. Oh, I'm not a Uzumaki, he said. Wait, Uzumaki, what? Why do you guys say those last names? Like it's some big clan or something like that. Do you not know? Asked Melissa. As Kaya looked at him. Do you not know about the Uzumaki clan? She asked. Wait, Uzumaki clan? What are you talking about? Said Naruto. She was surprised. You need to sit down. A few minutes later, Naruto stood there, as he couldn't believe what he was hearing. His last name Uzumaki was from a proud clan, called the Uzumaki clan that was known for their sealing in Fuinjutsu. Kaya was a surviving member. And her daughter was now Uzumaki as well. Kaido was a samurai that used to work for the Uzumakis, where he fell in love with Kaya there. They were amongst the few that survived the slaughtering of the clan. She didn't know the exact full amount of nations that gang up on the Uzumakis, but she knew that the stone and Kiri was amongst them. From the information that she got, so they wiped out our family. Yes, I'm afraid. We are but some of the last Uzumakis remaining. But Mito-sama had went to Konoha before, earlier. All of that happened. She was with the Hokage of the village. The Hokage? Yes, the first Hokage. That was a long time ago. The Uzumakis were, well, famous for their abilities of holding back beasts. Mito especially. Her chakra could calm the Nine-Tail. And, rare, in the Uzumakis were this ability found. There was another one though. My cousin. I didn't find out what happened about her much. But she had stayed in Konoha, and I heard nothing more. When the clan fell, things went bad. And I didn't get any more letters. I just got probably 2 letters from her when she arrived at Konoha, and she wasn't having a good time. People picking on her. Things were bad. But she told me she was trying her best, and she had to be their responsibility to the clan. Konoha and the Uzumakis were allied. And we helped them by passing off Uzumaki candidates for becoming Jinjulkis for the Nine-Tailed Jinjulki. So, if you know that, Kaya paused. Is your mother Kushina? Sorry, but I never knew my mother, said Naruto. It has to be, said Kaya, as she looked him over. It just has to be. There wasn't any other Uzumakis there. But if she's your mother, then that means we're family, said Melissa, finishing for her mother. You guys are my family? Yes. Kushina was my cousin, said Kaya. I have family, said Naruto, as he couldn't believe it as he looked at them. As Kaido had stood there. It seems like it was fate for him to find this boy and bring him here. As he watched them talk. But something came to his mind though. Konoha was still up to his tricks. When he heard about the ninjas, black clothing and plain masks, he knew exactly what the boy was talking about. He would have to talk to him privately. Well, do you happen to know who my mother had been with, said Naruto? I'm sorry, no. I lost contact before I could find out anything more. And then I had heard about the Nine-Tails attack. Knowing that your mother was supposed to be the next candidate, I fear that something went wrong. But I didn't want to go there. Because if I did, my child, they would have wanted to take her and turn her into a Jinjulke. I apologize for just leaving you behind. You have no need to apologize, said Naruto. You didn't know that I even existed. And I wouldn't want my child to become a Jinjulke either. Life was hard. So how did this happen, asked Melissa, breaking the mood as she looked at his tails. As she touched one of them and stroked it. As it felt soft. As Naruto blinked. As it felt strange to him. Honestly, I have no idea. Your eyes, said Kaya. They haven't always been like that, have they? No, said Naruto. You know, stay right here. As she made her way to one of the rooms. She took a few minutes to get back, as Melissa kept on playing with Naruto tails. As she brought an old scroll with her, as she placed on the table. What's that, said Naruto. A few things I managed to get before leaving the clan. A couple of scrolls and things here and there. An ancient power that was long seen in the Uzumakis, only produced once and never replicated ever again. I believe those eyes of yours. Is it? Really? Said Naruto. Look, as she opened the scroll. As Naruto saw a drawing, he looked back to the mirror and looked at his eyes. It was the same drawing. Who is that? As the person that the eyes were connected to was a man. He had black, shaggy hair. Well, the drawing. Small nose. Yet a rather small face. But the eyes were presumed and focused. This is one of the leaders of the Uzumaki clan, who awoke in eyes like this. But he's said to have never used in combat before. They were eyes gifted by the sage. The sage? Yes, the sage of Six Path. It was big news going down in Uzumaki. The first user of chakra. Many think that is a myth. But look into her eyes, I can tell. That's a reality because those eyes. This is those eyes. Seen from what they have gathered, The eyes were yellow, with ripple pattern in them, same like those of Maki leader from a long time ago. But he never used them in combat. He kept to himself. But mysteriously, he died one day. Of unknown causes. Well, that's strange, said Naruto. So you're telling me there's a 50-50% chance of me dying one day because of these eyes? Sorry. I wouldn't know, she said, as she looked at Naruto up and down. But what happened to you, she said. I have no idea. I just wake up and I'm like this now. I used to see the fox inside my stomach, but now he's not there. I remember something happening when I activate these eyes. I could feel him being absorbed by me. Absorbed? Did you fuse with the fox inside of you? Asked Kaido. Well, something like that. But I feel different. Stronger, faster. I can also hear that rabbit. Rabbit? Yes, a few miles in the bushes away. Your hearing has enhanced. Yeah, said Naruto. And not to mention you got these fluffy tails, said Melissa, as she plopped down on his tails. But the chakra of the fox is still inside me, said Naruto. It's still behind the bars. But I can feel it. I can feel it storing in there. But the seal is keeping it at bay. But I wish I didn't have to walk around these things, said Naruto. They're quite strange. Saying that, his tail started to shrink, as Melissa fell off them and fell down to the ground, before they shrink into his body back. He was still tall and muscular, but his tails were gone. They're gone, Melissa said. Bring them back, come on. They're so fluffy. As Naruto chuckled at that. It's been a long while since he chuckled, for real. Focusing, the tails came out in a flurry. They didn't even hurt or anything. Wow. Kaya smiled. It seems like it was destined for us to meet you. Seems that way, said Naruto. Time skip. As Naruto was currently sitting down with Kaido, him alone. As the two ladies were inside. As Naruto was sitting there with the man, his tails had retracted into his body. As Kaya had cooked a wonderful meal for all of them to eat. Naruto was surprised where he was. It was similar to where he found himself first, where he met. It was still difficult to talk about them. But the place was remote, as you had to go away before finding yourself towards a nearby village for supplies. But Kaido here was a farmer, and that was enough to help his little family come along. As Naruto didn't blame the man of not wanting his family near a war-torn village. Kaya was still scarred by what happened to her homeland, as she still thinks about it many times. As Naruto and the man sit there in some silence until the man spoke. So when we first spoke, you said you wanted to die. But I'm going to tell you something, and I want to hear your answer after that. Okay, said Naruto. Konoha was allies of Uza. Yeah, said Naruto. Well, when the invasion started by the other villages, before it even came to fruition, because Uza was renowned in their Fuinjutsu, they had sent a message to Konoha. They asked for help, but none never came. Did they not get it, Naruto asked. No, that's not it. You see, it was stopped. Stopped? Me and a few other swordsmen that survived went off. And we found ninjas. Yes. They were wearing white plain masks and black clothing. Naruto's eyes snapped towards the man, as the place started to become a bit heated. Calm down, kid. As Naruto took a deep breath in and out. He didn't know why, but he was starting to lose his patience a lot quicker recently. I'm not telling you this for you to lose your temper and explode or anything like that. I'm telling you this because it was Konoha that stopped it. What do you mean Konoha that stopped it? I don't know who exactly we're working for, but these guys, we fight with them. We were able to bring them down, some of them, before the rest retreat. But they had killed the messenger and destroyed the note. They said that Konoha didn't need Uza anymore. After all, they could simply use the offsprings The great Jinjulikis. What? Yeah. I haven't told Kaya about this. I didn't want her to go to Konoha. I didn't want them to use her or our daughter. So we stayed away. I'm sorry that we didn't come to check upon you or even your mother. You don't have to apologize about that, said Naruto. You did not know. But I want to know who. Who stopped the message? As I said, I have no idea. But it was the same description as back then. As Naruto's fist clenched, he took another breath to calm himself. So what now? Said Kaido. Know that you heard that. Do you still want to die? Naruto got to his feet. No. So what then? First of all, I want you to train me. Train you, said Kaido. Yes. At the moment I can't really fight to the level that I want. But you seem to be an expert with your blade. After all, I know you were not trying to kill me back then. You got that right. If I wanted, I could have put you down, said Kaido. As he put on an arrogant look. You're rather arrogant, you know that. Well, given that I'm one of the best swordsmen at the moment, I should be. And what makes you think that, said Naruto? Well, you will learn soon enough. So train you. Why would I do that? I don't want to take my teaching to do anything, well, put my teaching to shame. Oh, trust me, I won't. Whoever these guys are, they took something from me that cannot be replaced. Life. Kenny and Hannah and the old man took care of me, and I came to see them as family. And they were taken away. My home was also destroyed by these people, whoever they are. And if these people belong to Konoha, some secret envoy organization, I want them dead. As Naruto looked at Kaido, what? Expecting me to say no, go on the good route or something. These people deserve to die, whoever they are, after what they did to her family. Many of the Uzumakis were my friends, but they were all taken away. So yeah, screw them, said Kaido. So what else, he asks. Your entire life can't just be about killing. No. I'm gonna rebuild Uzu and create my own ninja village. If I can't be Hokage at Konoha, I'll be somewhere else. Huh. That's quite a big thought. Building an entire village. Are you sure you're up for it? Are you sure you can actually do it? But there's only one way to find out. So are you gonna help me, Naruto asks. Kaido looked at him as he smirked. Sure thing. As long as those guys get to pay for what they did to the Uzumakis, stopping that request could have saved a lot of life. Yeah, and I'm gonna make them pay, said Naruto. But first thing, I need to become stronger. A whole lot stronger. And I also need to find out what these eyes can actually do. Well then, I suppose we should get to work, said Kaido. Yeah, we should, said Naruto. Time skip. The deep, dark cave once again. As the leader stood there in his hologram form. Him alone this time, without his companion. Zetsu was halfway out of the ground once again. I did, said Zetsu, answering the question. But you should know, something happened to him. What do you mean, said Pain. His eyes. They're like yours. What? He has the Rinnegan? Not exactly. They're golden. I don't know if the same principle applies, but they're the same Rupa pattern, but now golden. His eyes were always blue at first. I don't know what happened to him. It's definitely him though. Not to mention he has grown. It's been 2 years. A human naturally grew. No. Beyond expectation. It's like he's been training intensely. His eyes are like mine, you say, said Pain. Yes. And there's something else. What's that? He has 9 tails. I know that already. No, you don't understand me. He literally has 9 tails coming from him. It's strange. I was making my way closer to investigate, but it was like he sensed me. I didn't know how, but he did. So I had to flee. And those eyes of his, I had to stay from a distance to watch them. He even sensed one of my saplings that I was going to plant on him. So I couldn't allow it to happen. I don't know what happened to him. He's currently up in the mountain regions of Hinokuni. Far up in the mountain regions. A secluded area. It took me a while, but I sensed a fluctuation of chakra up there. He seemed to be training and getting help. What now? I want to see this for myself. Someone possessing these eyes. Give me the location. I'll be going there to investigate myself, said Pain. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next part, this are not to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.